Hey everyone, how's it going? Anthony Muthurajah here. I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about this bass in my hand. I've used this now for the last 4 years. It's my go-to bass. I use it for most situations, musically speaking, and it's something that I have grown to love even more every day, every time I play it. And I've also gotten to know it a lot more from a perspective of sound. So I just want to take this chance to talk about what the bass is made of, the materials and the specs, and my options in terms of what I can produce in terms of sound. Okay, so one of the first few things I did with this instrument was I opted for a 0 fret, which you can see right there. Okay, so what a 0 fret essentially does is it makes the open strings feel like fretted notes, so it gives you a particular kind of tension which allows you to feel comfortable. Because if you're like me, I don't enjoy playing open strings a whole lot, but with this it's something I do a lot because it feels comfortable because of that 0 fret, right? So that's one. And the other thing is the wood combination. So I have a maple fingerboard and maple body, mahogany top, and then the mahogany neck. Usually mahoganies are favored in terms of the body because of tonal reasons. In my personal opinion and experience, tone is all about the pickups and how the pickups are configured, unless you have piezo pickups, which I do have on this bass, and I'll talk about in a minute. Okay, so these are passive pickups, jazz bass configuration, and also jazz bass spacing. But the preamp I only found out recently, and it's funny because Tom actually mentioned this to me before, but the preamp is actually active because you need an active preamp to run your piezo. You learn something new every day, I guess, but then it actually makes sense. So passive pickups, all right, so I don't have any onboard EQ, I just have a tone knob right there. And as of now, my current rig, I always use a Trickfish preamp, the Minnow, and I'm running into the Minnow, out of the Minnow into my Bullhead Mini 500 amp head, which is being recorded straight on Logic. No compression, no processing. The EQ is all flat except the lows. I've boosted it a bit, and that is something I've been doing lately. So this is a volume knob. Okay, so one master volume, and then this is your pickup pan. So this is the knob in the middle. That's both the pickups engaged. So this, I guess, would be my kind of primary sound I go to when I want to play pocket, when I want to play groove, regardless of the context and style. I have it engaging both pickups. And then if I turn it all the way to the left, bridge pickup. All the way to the right is neck. It's quite a nice neck pickup sound. Okay, and then you have the tone knob here. So just to give you an idea, this is both pickups engaged with a little bit of tone, not too much. If I bring in more, I actually really like the tone knob because it's not harsh, but it gives you just the right range of the top end that you need from the tone. So that's the tone knob, and then that's the volume right there on the bottom. Hopefully you can see that. That's the volume for the piezo. And then here I have a three-way switch. So with the switch all the way to the left, it's just the pickups. In the middle is a blend with the piezo, but before I do that, I'm going to show you just the piezo. So this is the piezo all the way up. It's a very woody sound, which is the point of a piezo, is to capture the actual resonance, right? Because these pickups, your electronics usually don't pick up resonance, they pick up vibration, the strings vibration. The piezo picks up the actual instrument, which is a very nice color because it's very raw, and because it's just a volume, so I don't really have the ability to EQ it per se unless I actually go and tweak my preamp, which sometimes I do. But all the way to the right, that's the piezo. If I put the switch in the middle, that's these guys plus the piezo. So normally what I do is, depending on the musical situation, when I use the piezo, I like to use just the bridge pickup. But let me show you what I actually started doing lately. So that's both the pickups on. Now instead of going all the way to the bridge, I've started to just kind of blend it. So I'm using probably 15% of the neck plus the remaining 85 with the bridge. So of course it's a little tough to kind of gauge what's happening, but there's a difference. So when I turn it towards the bridge, I turn it just enough until I actually start to hear the buzz, and that's the bridge pickup engaged. But it's got a bit of weight because of that little fraction of the neck pickup, because there's a difference when I'm this way versus, so you can hear it thin out. So sometimes I like to thin it out if I'm playing chords, but normally I like to actually blend it with the neck, so it gives me a little weight, so I can actually use it to groove with it, and I can still play my chords. It's still thin enough that I can play the chords, but it's also got enough bottom that I can function with that sound. Because what I find with the bridge pickup, usually on most instruments, it's a little hard to play on gigs because you don't have so much bottom end on a bridge pickup like you would on the neck. So what I do with the piezo is I use the bridge pickup blended with the neck, but more of the bridge. The tone's completely off, and then I have the piezo up about 80%. So it gives me a nice woody, bright sound with no tone from these guys. And let's say if it's not too nice to solo with, I would use this when I'm comping. And then when I'm soloing, I'll just go. So it gives me very minute options in terms of how I can blend sounds, but they are very noticeable, especially in a pretty reasonably sized venue or in a good recording situation, or even in my home recordings. Sometimes I even mic my cabinet so I can get the actual sound of the wood with the piezo by miking the cap, so that gives me much more character. So that is primarily what the bass does, and it's pretty simple. 18mm string spacing, 34-inch scale length. It's a relatively low action. The way I've set it up, it's not too low, neither is it too high. Kind of in the middle, because I like to I like to have some resistance with my instruments, but not too much resistance, obviously. And now, as of this whole year, actually, I play in a church, in a gospel church, and we play a lot of praise breaks and shout and stuff like that. So I really needed something to get me through it in terms of a setup. But this bass really pulls through in that situation in church, with my projects, when I'm playing my music, or if I'm playing any of the kind of gigs straight ahead or whatever it might be. It's an extremely versatile instrument, and the build quality is amazing. And it's so light. It is way lighter than my Squier jazz basses. With my Vertigo mono bag, it's probably about 5 kilos, 5 or 5.5 kilos, and the bag's about 1.5 kilos. So I'm talking like 3.5 to 4 kilos in terms of weight. Very thin body, as you can see, neck through, and it's just very nice to reach out. And my favorite part of all is this guy here. That's the battery compartment for the preamp and all the electronics. If I need to get in there and clean it, it's easy. It's magnetic, so it just plops right back on. So super easy, amazing instrument, and I definitely look forward to making at least one more bass with Tom. But yeah, shout out to Tom, shout out to Marceau Guitars. You guys are amazing. What you're doing is amazing, and I look forward to doing more with this bass and future bass us. All right, so that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and yeah, check out Marceau Guitars. Peace.